Namaste. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Harihi Om. Dear friends, many of you have written to me asking me about Nyasam and how to perform Nyasam. In this video, I'll share with you the simple steps for performing a Nyasam and as to why we perform the Nyasam. Nyasam is performed to purify oneself before chanting the mantra. Every Nyasam starts with a declaration on what mantra is being chanted. For example, when we chant Rudram, we say Asya Shree Rudradhyaya Prashna Mahamantrasya. Similarly, when we chant Chandi Navakshari or we chant Lalita Sahasra, similarly we declare whatever we are going to chant. After that, the next step is to declare the Rishi on whom the mantra was divined. Whenever we say Rishi, we have to touch the top of the head because the lotus feet of the Rishi or Guru reside on top of our head. So when we chant Rudram, we say Aghora Rishi and we chant and we touch the top of the head. After declaring the Rishi, the next step is to declare the chandas or the meter in which the mantra is constructed. When we say chandas, we touch our nose because chandas is a very life breath of chanting. Anushtok chandaha, and we touch our nose. Or if we chant in plural, where the chandas is in plural, it says it is said to be chandamsi, Gayatri, Ushni, Anushtuk, chandamsi, and we touch our nose. After touching the top of the head and touching our nose, the next place to touch is our heart because we declare the deity on which the mantra is divine and the deity resides in our heart. Sri Rudro Devata for Sri Rudram, and we touch our heart. Touching the top of the head for the Rishi, nose for the Chandas, and heart for Devata. After this, we have to touch three other places: Bijam, Kilakam, and Shakti. Bijam is located on the right side below the chest. Kilakam is located on the left side below the chest. And Shakti is located right below the chest in the center. For example, in Rudram we say Namah Shivayeti Bijam Shivatarayeti Shakti Mahadevayeti Kilakam. After touching these three spots, the next thing is to perform a Namaskara Mudra and declare that we are going to chant this mantra or declare whatever you are going to perform. It could be an Abhishekam or it could be simply a recitation. After completing the process of touching here, here and here for Bijam, Kilakam and Shakti, then we declare the act that we are going to perform. For example, in Rudram we say Sri Samba Sadashiva Prasada Siddhyarte Jape Viniyogaha. When you are going to chant Rudram or when you are going to perform Abhishekam by yourself, you say Abhisheke Viniyogaha. Or when you are going to perform a Homam, Japa Home Viniyogaha. And when you do that, you perform a Namaskara Mudra and you perform this action. Sri Samba Sadashiva Prasada Siddhyarte Jape Viniyogaha. That is Viniyogam. After this, there are two main portions of the Nyasam. They are called Karanyasam and Anganyasam. Anganyasam is also called Hridaya Nyasam. Kara means hand. So the first Nyasam is to do with the hands, and they mostly involve the palm. When you open up your palm, first you start with the index finger at the bottom of the thumb. Angushtabhyam Namaha. Okay? This is Angushtabhyam Namaha, where you have your index finger at the bottom of the thumb on both the palms, and you keep rolling them up once when you say Angushtabhyam Namaha. Now the thumb portion is finished, and the rest of the job will be done by the thumb. So remember, first the thumb, finish of the thumb, and then it's the job of the thumb. Then you have the index finger, Tarjinibhyam Namaha. Again, keep the thumb at the bottom base of the index finger and roll it up. This is Tarjinibhyam Namaha. Then keep your thumb at the base of the middle finger and roll it up, saying Madhyamabhyam Namaha. Then keep your thumb at the base of the ring finger and roll it up when you say Anamikabhyam Namaha. This is Anamikabhyam Namaha. Then keep your thumb at the base of the little finger and roll it from the bottom to the top, saying Kanishthikabhyam Namaha. All of this rolling is done only once. Angushtabhyam Namaha, Tarjanebhyam Namaha, Madhyamabhyam Namaha, Anamikabhyam Namaha, Kanishthikabhyam Namaha. Now after having finished all the fingers, comes Kara Tala Kara Prishthabhyam Namaha. Kara Tala means the top. Kara means hands. Top of the hands. This is Kara Tala, and Prishtha is the back. Kara Prishtha means at the back of the palm. So Kara Tala Kara Prishthabhyam Namaha. This action is similar to when you say, I'm washing your hands off. Right? Top of the hands, bottom of the hands. So any mantra that you chant has this, and the mantra to be chanted with performing this action will differ from chanting to chanting. When you're chanting Rudram, it will differ. When you chant Lalita Sahasranamam, depending upon whichever mantra you have been initiated in, the performance of the Karanyasam will differ. And similarly, when you chant Navakshari, it will be with Aim, Hreem, Kleem, Chamundaya Viche. For example, you say Aim, Angushtabhyam Namaha, Hreem, Tarjinibhyam Namaha, Kleem, Madhyamabhyam Namaha, Chamundaya Anamikabhyam Namaha, Viche, Kanishthikabhyam Namaha, Aim, Hreem, Kleem, Chamundaya Viche, Karatala Karaprishthabhyam Namaha. Now the Karanyasam is finished. Then comes the Hridayanyasam or the Anganyasam, where the different parts of the body will be touched. Remember, the parts of the body that will be touched will change because it's not only the hands, it's the different parts of the body, but the mantras will remain the same. Whatever mantras you chanted for Karanyasam, the same mantras will be chanted for Hridayanyasam or the Anganyasam. So let's start with, for example, in Navakshari, we'll say Aim Hridaya Namaha. When you say Hridaya Namaha, you will touch your heart. Aim Hridaya Namaha. Then Hreem Shirase Swaha. When you say Shirase Swaha, you will touch the top of the head. So Aim Hridaya Namaha, Hreem Shirase Swaha. Then you will touch the top of the back of the head where your shikha is supposed to be there. In Tamil it is said it is called Kudumi, and in Hindi it is called Choti, where the shikha is supposed to be the tuft. Okay, and ladies can perform this nyasam also, Karanyasam, Anganyasam. So the back of the head is touched for Shikhaye Vashate. After doing Hridayam, Shiras, Shikha, comes Kavacham. And when you say Kavachaya Hum, you cross your hands across your chest. So AtiRudram Namaha, Harein Shirase Swaha, Kleem Shikhaye Vashate, Chamundaye Kavachaya Hum. Then comes Netratrayaya Vaushate, Netratrayam. Netratrayam means 3 eyes. Your index finger will be on your right eye, ring finger will be on the left eye, and the middle finger will be on the Jnana Chakshu, or the eye, third eye, which is in between the brows, which is called the eye of knowledge. Netratrayaya Vaushat. Right? 3 eyes. Then comes Astraya Phat, where normally the index finger and the middle finger are slapped like a couple of times on the left palm. Astraya Phat. Okay? AtiRudram Namaha, Harein Shirase Swaha, Kleem Shikhaye Vashate, Chamundaye Kavachaya Hum, Vichye Netratrayaya Vaushate, Aim Hrim Kleem Chamundaye Vichye Astraya Phat. Then comes Bhurbhuvaswarom iti dig bandhaha. When we say Bhurbhuvaswarom iti dig bandhaha, we are basically locking ourselves off from all distractions. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, which are the 3 lokas, and we are locking ourselves away from them, as well as the digs or the directions. And when we say Bhurbhuvaswarom iti dig bandhaha, we do a clicking motion starting right in front of ourselves and around ourselves, which is basically an action of saying I'm locking or zipping myself away from all distractions, so that now I can focus on the next step. After having declared the Rishi, the Chandas, pointing to where the deity is, which is in the heart, then doing the Kilakam, Bijam, Kilakam and Shakti, and then doing the Karanyasam, then doing the Anganyasam, Bhurbhuvaswaram iti dig bandhaha, which is in a clockwise motion. After having purified oneself, now we are fit to say Dhyanam and do the Namaskara Mudra. When we say Dhyanam, which means focus, the focus is entirely on the deity whom we are now invoking in our heart after having purified ourselves. And when we say Dhyanam, there are Dhyana shlokas for every deity. For Rudram, the very popular Dhyana shloka, Apa Tanavas Talanta Bhavana Brahmanda Mahavispurati is there. And when we say for Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, for Shree, the 3 Dhyana shlokas are there. And when we say Dhyanam, basically we have to close our eyes, do the Namaskara Mudra, focus on the deity. The Dhyana shloka describes the deity, the physical form of the deity in great detail. For Rudram, it describes how Shiva is seated, on what he is seated, how he is looking, what his trident, his damru. It describes in great details. So as we describe that, we have to focus on all the details and affix the deity's image in our heart. Similarly, when we say Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, the 3 descriptions of the deities are available in the Dhyana shlokas, and when we understand them, we follow the description and affix the deity in our heart. And after having said Dhyanam and affixing the deity in the heart, the next step is to do Pancha Upacharam, or 5 upacharas, which are the minimum upacharas or minimum formalities to be observed in any puja. And these are mostly done when you're doing meditation or when you're doing recitation of the Moola Mantram. The word Kalpayami is used, which is your offering from your heart or from your imagination. Now, in order to remember the sequence, because the hand comes back into play here for the Panchopacharam, you have to remember Karanyasam. Where did you leave Karanyasam off. The last step in Karanyasam before you did Karatala Karaprithabhyam Namaha is Kanishtikhabhyam Namaha, which is the last, the little finger. Correct? So for Pancha Upacharam, you will start with the little finger, and then the natural process follows, which is the thumb, index finger, middle finger, the ring finger. And since you have completed the little finger, you don't have to complete the little finger now because it's already done. So how is the Pancha Upacharam done? It's called Lam Ityadi Puja. Lam Prithivyatmane Gandham Kalpayami. When you say Lam Prithivyatmane Gandham Kalpayami, you keep your thumb at the base of the little finger and roll it up. Here we are informing the deity or declaring to the deity that please imagine that this small piece of sandalwood that I'm offering you in my imagination equals the size of the earth. Everything is in imagination. So, what is fit for a deity? What is fit for a deity in the devotee's imagination is a small piece of sandalwood, but for the deity he says, please consider this my small offering as if I'm offering you a sandalwood piece which is the size of the earth. Lam Prasivyatmane Gandham Kalpayami. Next comes the index finger and thumb. Ham Akashatmane Pushpam Kalpayami. Ham Akashatmane Pushpam Kalpayami. And here the devotee is declaring to the deity that the flower that I am offering in my imagination to you, kindly imagine that the entire sky is showering flowers on you. Ham Akashatmane Pushpam Kalpayami. Then comes Yam Vaivatmane Dhupam Kalpayami, where the thumb is kept at the base of the index finger and the thumb is rolled up once. Yam Vaivatmane Dhupam Kalpayami, and the devotee is declaring to the deity, kindly imagine that the dhupam or the incense that I am offering you, please imagine as if the Vayu Devata himself is being offered to you with full of very nice aromatic fragrances. Yam Vaivatmane Dhupam Kalpayami. Then comes Ram Agnayatmane Deepam Kalpayami. Ram Agnayatmane Deepam Kalpayami, wherein you have to keep your thumb at the base of the middle finger and roll it up, just like you should do Madhyamabhyam Namaha. Ram Agnayatmane Deepam Kalpayami. And here the devotee is declaring to the deity, kindly imagine that the small deepam or the small lamp that I am offering you, please imagine as if I am offering Agni Devata himself as deepam to you. Because what befits a deity, the glory of the deity is such that what will be befitting for the deity will be a lamp that's as luminous and as bright as Agni Devata himself. Ram Agniyatmane Deepam Kalpayami. Then comes Vam Amritatmane Amritam Kalpayami, where the thumb is kept at the base of the ring finger and rolled up. Vam Amritatmane Amritam Kalpayami. And here the devotee is declaring to the deity that gods are immortal, as everybody knows. That's one of their qualities. So what is apt to be offered as Naivedyam or as a food offering for the deity? It is ambrosia or nectar, or as we say in Sanskrit, Amritam. Vam Amritatmane Amritam Kalpayami. This fruit that I am offering you, or this food that I am offering you in my imagination, kindly imagine this to be ambrosia or Amritam itself, is what the deity is imploring with the deity. After having performed all these upacharas, the devotee then folds his hands and does a namaskara mudra and declares Sam Sarvatmane Samastopachara Samarpayami, saying, I have offered you all the formal upacharas or the formalities that are required in my puja to you. The secret of the Namaskara Mudra lies in the Panchopachara. So, in our rich Hindu culture, whenever we perform Namaskaram to a guest, Atithi Devo Bhava, when we perform the Namaskara Mudra to the guest, we are looking upon the guest as God, and we are performing the Panchopacharas to the guest. Lam Prathivyatmane Gandham Kalpayami, Ham Akashatmane Pushpam Kalpayami, Yam Vaivatmane Dhupam Kalpayami, Ram Aganyatmane Deepam Kalpayami, Vam Amritatmane Amritam Kalpayami, Sam Sarvatmane Samattopacharan Samarpayami. And what does the guest do in return? The guest also does Namaskar. The guest also looks upon the host as God and performs a similar upachara. This is one of the most noble and great features of the Namaskara Mudra and a great feature of our Hindu religion, the Namaskara Mudra. And this is the secret of the Namaskara Mudra. And after having performed the Panchopachara, the next thing is to do the chant of the mantra. If it is Rudram, Rudram is chanted. If it is Navakshari, Aim, Hreem, Kleem, Chamundaye Viche is chanted. Generally, a minimum of 108 times are chanted, but it could be up to your convenience. It could be in multiples of 8 generally, 8, 16, 32, so on and so forth. After having chanted and completed the number of chants that one wants to do, comes the second portion. So imagine it in this way. The guest has come. The deity in the form of the guest has come and resided in our heart. And after having performed puja to the deity in our heart, it's time for us to now release the deity from our heart and return back to our daily routine. And in this, again, the Nyasa is performed, but please remember, only the second half of the Nyasam, which is the Hridaya Nyasam or the Anga Nyasam, is performed. So in Navakshari, after having chanted Aim Hreem Kleem Chamundaye Viche, for example, 108 times, now the time has come for us to get out of our meditative mode and get back to normal routine. So this is how we end the Nyasam after this is called the ending portion of the Nyasam, which is, remember, only the Hridaya Nyasam or the Anga Nyasam. Aim Hridaya Namaha, Hreem Shirase Swaha, Kleem Shikhaye Vashat, Chamundaye Kavachayohum, Vichene Tratraya Vaushat, Aim Hreem Kleem Chamundaye Viche, Astraya Phat. Till now, all the steps are same as we would have done in the Karanya, in the Anga Nyasam or Hridaya Nyasam when we started the Nyasam. The only portion that differs is in the Bhurbhuva Swarom iti Bandha. Now, what one needs to do is do the reverse clicking around oneself, like in an unzipping motion, okay, which is basically unlocking ourselves from all distractions, which means you're returning back to a normal state. Anti-clockwise, okay? Bhurbhuva Swarom iti dik Vimokaha. There it was Bandha, here it is Vimokaha. Please note, Bhurbhuva Swarom iti dik Vimokaha. And after doing the Vimokaha, once more you have to do the Dhyana. Imagine in the beginning you are escorting a guest into your heart or into your home, and now the time has come to respectfully lead the guest to the door, from the doors of your heart. So, after doing Vimokaha, we do Dhyanam again and focus upon the deity and chant the Dhyana Shloka. And after having chanted the Dhyana Shloka, what do we do to the guests when we leave them at the door? We do the Namaskara Mudra again. So we do the Panchopachara again. Lam Prathivyatmane Gandham Kalpayami, Ham Akashatmane Pushpam Kalpayami, Yam Vaivatmane Dhupam Kalpayami, Ram Aganyatmane Deepam Kalpayami, Vam Amritatmane Amritam Kalpayami, Sam Sarvatmane Samattopacharam Samarpayami. After the Panchopacharam, the formal Nyasam process or procedure is completed, and you can get back to your normal life. Many times a question has been raised whenever people read books and they have seen For example, lam prathivyatmane gandham samarpayami. Lam prathivyatmane gandham samarpayami. Ham akashatmane pushpam samarpayami. Yam vayuvatmane dhupam aghrapayami. When you physically show the dhupam. Ram aganyatmane deepam darshayami. When you physically show the deepam. Before that it was showing the incense stick. And then when you offer naivedyam physically like a fruit or the food offering, vam amritatmane amritam samarpayami or nivedayami. My personal practice is to always use kalpayami, because though I am offering physically, in my mind I am imagining that whenever I am offering the sandalwood physically, and in my mind I am still imagining that to be the size of the earth. When I am offering flowers, couple of petals, I am still thinking the entire sky is showering flowers on the deity. When I am offering dhupam or deepam, I am still thinking it is Vayu Devata himself coming full of fragrances. It is Agni Devata himself coming as deepam, and the fruit I am offering is same as nectar itself. So I always use kalpayami. This is my personal preference and practice. Just to clarify that, because I've been asked questions on this also. This is not a big point to be discussed. It's up to your convenience, but I'm just sharing with you as to what I personally do. So, dear friends, this brings to a conclusion my sharing with you on the simple process of Nyasam. The process is the same in all mantras, but within the Nyasam, for example, in Chandi it was Aim Hrim Klim Chamundai Riche. In Rudram it is different, and Lalitha Sahasranamam, depending upon what mantra you have been initiated in, it will be different. But for the Rishi, Chandas, Devata, Bijam, Kelakam, Shakti, and then Jape Vinyogaha, and then Karanyasam, okay? And then the Anganyasam, Hridaya Namaha, Shirse Swaha, Shikhaya Vashate, Kavachaya Hum, Netra Traya Vashate, Astraya Vashate, Dhur Soram, Ijiri Bandaha, Dhyanam, Panchopachara. And when you conclude, only perform the Hridaya Nyasam or the Anganyasam, do the Dhyanam, remember the reverse clicking and say Vimokaha. So dear friends, this concludes my small presentation. I hope it was useful to you. This is the simplest form of Nyasam. There are lots of elaborate Nyasams that are available, but if you follow this simple process, you can get started. Thank you. Namaste once again.